Hello, hello, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. And it's time for another live stream. We're here on Wednesday. So that means it's time to round up news from the world of IndyCar and then general IndyCar chit chat. We'll look to go live to about 1 o'clock UK time today, which means I think it's around about 8 o'clock Eastern time for you guys in the States. We did do the kind of slightly later day in the time, I think 11 till 12 last week, but I'm just going to kind of test this out and see if any of you guys prefer the earlier time or would prefer the later time in the evening. If you clicked on the thumbnail, you'll know that the first story today that we'll be covering is one that was covered by Marshall Pruitt and the Racer, which is that IndyCar will be running a higher downforce package on the three ovals outside of the Indy 500. So at Texas Motor Speedway, the Iowa doubleheader, and at Gateway, there will be a higher downforce package, which they believe will improve the racing product. I'll just get the story up on screen for you now. But how is everyone doing in chat? How's everyone's Wednesday starting off today? Hope you're all good. Can I get this article on? Maybe, maybe not. I'll jump back in and see if there's anyone right. Rod Hume, good morning. Very early chat indeed, Nick. I thought, it might get some people before they go to school / get into work. Whether you prefer this kind of early morning things, we'll try and get it on. But good to see you and thing. Been a bad IndyCar PR week with reporters taking quotes out of context. Oh, I've missed that. Go from there. Joffov Roder, lovely mate. Go from there. Talk about, let's see. Cannot seem to find that article at the moment. I was just reading it beforehand. I thought I had it there. It's 4:10 a.m. here in Canada. Wow, Rod, that is early. What are you doing up that early? You got the Dixon IndyCar as essentially a junior car. Yes, I did see that quote. Yeah, it's a difficult one because, look, IndyCar times are more related to F2, but IndyCar isn't. Well, I say it's not the quickest one. On ovals, it's quicker than F1 because you're going flat out round there. But yes, on road and street courses, obviously its times are more comparable to the junior categories than Formula 1. But yeah, it is the difficult one. But I think I saw a tweet from David Land, which I think I agreed with, was going, if IndyCar is in the same conversation as Formula 1, which it is more nowadays, rather than just completely cast aside, that can only be a good thing. Do you know if Katie Hargett will be reporting on IndyCar this year? I do not know that. I will find out and see if I can get a bit there. But yes, right, downforce more on ovals. Couldn't find the story, but basically we'll talk about go from there. So yeah, Texas Motor Speedway, Iowa and Gateway, they're going to try a high downforce package, which is difficult because I believe the downforce has caused an issue, I think, or for the drivers not preferably doing it. But I presume IndyCar have looked into this a lot. It came from Jay Fry, the quotes directly. They believe it's going to improve the entertainment package. So I presume, obviously, it's been well thought out. They're trying things, obviously, before moulding this current chassis before any sort of form updates. It's kind of mini updates as always before the hybrid engines coming in. He did say usually they're a great big believer of less downforce, more horsepower, but in this scenario they do actually believe it will improve the car. Dixon is a kart fan. Absolutely. Go from there. Nothing concrete regarding Toyota joining IndyCar anytime soon. Yep, absolutely nothing concrete is the thing. That story is on Racer, by the way. Yeah, it is on Racer. I just couldn't find it to kind of get it up on screen for you guys. I'm hopelessly addicted to Automobilista 2. IndyCar at the Glen. So you're just kind of going, I must race more. Good stuff, Rod. The Downforce story, to be more specific. Yes. No, Nick. Yeah, that was what I was going for. This was Marshall Pruitt kind of reporting on there. We'll switch over to the IndyCar chat there because we've got another. Obviously, last Friday we had that live stream going over the Connor Daly going full time in the number 20 Ed Carpenter seat, and we have had a couple more driver announcements since then, which probably leads the next logical point to kind of move on to. So if I get that up and we'll jump there. There's a big, if you go on the IndyCar website, big picture of Connor Daly there, if we can see on that front. But yeah, let me get up and let me get this chat live up on here so I can read the stories as we go along and give our reaction to round up for you guys. There we go. Okay. The Tatiana Calderon story, yes, that is the one that I think we should probably move on to next. So, female racer Calderon joins Foyt. So, Foyt are going to a 3-time outfit. This will be a road and street course only. Those of you who are obviously following the series last year will know that Tatiana Calderon was testing. She tested, as she is pictured here, with the number 14 AJ Foyt car. She'll be doing the number, good question, 11, I believe it is. Yes, the number 11 Rocket sponsorship. Obviously, we saw that Rocket sponsorship with Sebastian Bourdais last year. That sponsorship will be with Tatiana Calderon, and I presume that would mean that unlikely, I would say, to see 2 Rocket sponsored cars. That Carl Kirkwood is in the number 14 Rocket car, so they're going to have 2 Rocket sponsored ones going for. We'll be testing, and yeah, Carl Kirkwood is testing today, so obviously we have another test. I believe it's at Sebring today for drivers. We've had the media day the past couple of days for the IndyCar series, and so that's where the quotes were coming out for Scott Dixon, and a little bit of a missed opportunity, I think, from IndyCar. I don't think they could have. I think on Instagram they're usually pretty good, but they weren't necessarily plastering a lot from the media day over their social medias. But back to Tatiana Calderon. She's now 28. She has racked up a vast amount of kind of single-seater experience. She's been within the Formula 2 category, worked her way through junior categories. Well, I think she started her single-seater career over here stateside. I say over here stateside as I'm in the UK. Over there stateside, and she's driven in Super Formula as recently as last year. She was the Indy Pro 2000. That's where she kind of was on the road to Indy ladder, but it's kind of gone full circle, as this is, you know, pretty much full time without those kind of oval seats in that basis. What are people's initial thoughts to Tatiana coming? It's obviously IndyCar has been a huge one for providing a platform for female racers to compete in single seaters on a full-time series. They've just thinking today, obviously we had Simona De Silvestro go from there, Catherine Legg previously, God, the names are escaping me as we go from there. Lynn St. James, if you watch the kind of Michigan live stream, you'll see, why is she a St. James, as Stephen? We're just going, why is she a saint? He couldn't get over the fact that she was a saint from there. But anyway, Tatiana Calderon is the latest female driver to come into the IndyCar series. Now, from my experience, I'll have to let's see if I can maybe get her Wikipedia up and see how she got on. Tatiana Calderon. Let's see how she got on in Super Formula last year. She wasn't strong in Formula 2, but she wasn't necessarily with a great team within Formula 2 But yeah, it wasn't a standout kind of position from there. Where was her Super Formula? She's obviously been running LMP2 as well. Complete Super Formula results. So nothing to kind of shout to the hills about. Oh, she's competed the last couple of years in Super Formula, but has obviously competed part-time. She hasn't ever run a full season within Super Formula, but I guess this is as full season as what she's going to run within Indycar. But yeah, nothing to kind of really shout to the hills about. But I guess with Rocket, she brings sponsorship. When you're having 3 cars on, there's more data to collect as well. So if we're looking at like European Formula 3, not bad within the 2014, even getting a race win within that series, some top 10 performances between GP3, and go from there. So yeah, it's really a struggle. So obviously Arden's transition, that was their last year competing within Formula 2, so you can say it was difficult there. A couple of kind of 14 place finishes, no top 10s. Obviously Spa, she was her teammate Antoine Hubert, who obviously sadly passed away that year. But yes, to date, her career hasn't necessarily been standout, but it's going to be interesting to see what she can do within the series, and her strength will be on road and street courses as she comes in. But I believe this number 11 car will have an oval driver, which is yet to be announced, so it'll be interesting to see. It offers another place, maybe JR Hildebrand, who obviously drove for the team at the Indy 500 last year in that kind of really cool retro throwback livery to AJ Foyt's first Indy 500 win, I believe it was. Maybe that's the type of driver they'll look to go in, as he already has a connection with the team. But yeah, that'll be interesting. Good move, especially if they use her money to get Kirkwood or what he needs to be a mid-pack challenger. Yes, absolutely, I go from there. If people bring in money to the sport, obviously, and they improve, and they're not, and Tatiana, I think, has been impressive within the sports car scene. I think she's definitely improved from there. Look, is she going to come in and be a challenger? No, because AJ Foyt aren't there as a team. Can she come in and have some good results? I don't see why not. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how she develops. Villalba, more aerodynamic loads, better mechanical grip, and more powerful brakes are needed. The Indy must be equal to or faster than Super Formula on road circuits. Yes, the Super Formula cars are quicker. They are lightning quick, whilst also being pretty much spec within that series. So IndyCar probably can learn a lot from Super Formula in those kind of smaller and more nimble cars. Do you think Helio Castroneves can win the championship this year? John Offroader 1999. I would say no. I think Castroneves' chances of competing for championships within the series are gone. Do I think it allows him a good chance to be, really competitive? Can he get a race win? There's every chance that he can pull it together. Hi Tyrrell, good to see you in chat. There's every chance that he can get race wins within the series. If either of the two Maya Shank guys were going to compete for a championship, for me it would be Simon Pagenaud over Helio Castroneves. Also, by the way, Aitken was interested in IndyCar but could not find funding. Yes, I know he was interested. He didn't do the test in the end, did he? Would not be surprised to see Jack in the Indy next season. No, I wouldn't. But he may be someone like Kevin Magnussen, Jack Aitken, who, couldn't find the funding and then finds his way through sports cars. I can see Jack Aitken going more the sports car route, go from there. Hope Tata does well this year. Yeah, it'd be nice to see her do well, absolutely, for sure. With a lot of money and a little experience, anybody can become a professional driver now. Yes, that is true. But what I would say in fairness to Calderon is she has been doing a lot of racing, to now the fact at 28 she is pretty experienced Not necessarily within top level categories, but she is pretty experienced within the racing world. Let's move on to the other driver announcement, which is Kanaan will be back with Ganassi, and this is also a guy that may be a potential. Got a relationship with AJ Foyt in the past. He was racing for AJ Foyt as late as 2020 in the season on the ovals for them. But he will be running the 500 with the American Legion back in as well. Obviously, with Jimmy Johnson going full time with Kavana, that means that I presume that Tony Kanaan will not run any other ovals. He will be part 5-car lineup. Haven't heard anything more. It was kind of quite a brief description on that front. But yeah, Kanaan will be back and gives him a great opportunity for maybe his last Indy 500. It was a 2-year deal, I believe, with Chip Ganassi. So I would fully expect this maybe to be Kanaan's last Indy 500. We shall see on that front. But like I said, with AJ Foyt, the oval opening on that Tatiana Calderon car, and also having their previous relationship with the team, maybe Kanaan could be someone who can see someone jump into that car. Jumping back into chat, Jack tested with the come to race. He did actually go through with that test. Okay, interesting to see. I presume, well, actually no, the number 20 car wouldn't have been an option for Jack anyway, even if US Air Force stuck, because they prefer obviously an American driver to go with that sponsorship. But yes, no real surprise. I think this was more a formality, because he did sign a 2-year deal when Jimmy Johnson wasn't sure whether he was going to run full-time on ovals, and he was just running the road and street courses in the 2021 season. Obviously, now that he's announced to go full-time, that meant that the oval seats weren't available in that Kavana car for Tony Kanaan, but means that he is coming back with American Legion and will be a 5th car, which I can't remember the last time, if at any time, Ganassi have run 5 cars at the Indy 500. So that is very interesting as well. I think those were the kind of main ones. I guess Lundgaard, talking about he's been testing. He tested just last week at Sebring, first time with his engineer Ben Siegel, and just speaking about how he's getting on, and the relationship seems good already. Obviously, the key to any successful partnership with an Indycar is having a good relationship with your engineer, and he talks about how Ben's obviously vastly experienced. He says it's not necessarily the smartest engineers that do it. Obviously, that helps a lot, but it's the guys who just have a good feel for the sport. And I think Simon Pagenaud, again, he's listed here with Meyershank, talking there, was at the test last week. But Simon Pagenaud also was noting that Meyershank a really good professional outfit on that front as well. But yes, what are your thoughts on Kanaan? Obviously, coming in for the Indy 500 again. Does he have a chance of winning? Lundgaard, obviously, now getting the testing under the belt. How well do we think Lundgaard is going to do? I think probably for a lot of people, he will be everyone's favourite for Rookie of the Year in terms of team and / full-time involvement within the series. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that one? Seems like 3 years ago, Chip Ganassi Racing was a 2-car team. It was a really small team, and now they've got 4 full-time drivers in the series and a 5th car at the Indy 500. But in fairness, at the Indy 500, that is where everyone kind of goes, all chips in, and goes from there. Talking about chips in Vegas, obviously, that Bitline sponsorship that was announced with Ed Carpenter Racing is Vegas based. So I presume Connor Daly was just talking about the latest sponsorship from the IndyCar Content Day that was day 2 of it yesterday. But yeah, it's been a relatively quiet front on the IndyCar news as we build up to the season. Obviously, we had testing last week. There should have been one. There were Indy Lights testing results. I don't know if it was on the racer, but basically, Pedersen, the Danish driver, was leading the way. Was very impressive at Sebring because he had an electronic issue in the morning and only completed 59 laps, which was the least out of everyone, but he managed to top Linus Lundqvist in both. Obviously, the guy who finished third within the Indy Lights Championship last season. So that was impressive from him, and the top 10 I think was separated at Homestead by one, or top 8 was split by 0.181 of a second, which means the field is going to be super close. Stingray Rob looking impressive in the Andretti Autosport car for this season. But yeah, lots of interesting ones to go on that front. Hope Lundgaard does not fall into the hype driver category. I don't think he will. I think there is a lot of talent in Christian Lundgaard, and ART in Formula 2 is a difficult team. They have a very weird balance between their drivers, and Théo Pourchaire being French as well last year and very talented, probably one of those kind of super talented generation drivers, which doesn't knock Christian Lundgaard, who in his own right is talented, but Théo is potentially something really special, and I imagine he will be racing within the world of Formula 1. But ART only really tend to focus on one driver across a Formula 2 season, and Lundgaard has seemed to have fallen out of favour. Well, he was, in fairness, a title challenger during the 2020 season before falling off in the closing stages of that championship. So he was the favoured driver, as I think Marcus Armstrong fell away with ART in the 2020 season. So Christian Lundgaard go from there. We're going to have, like I said, coming up in the next few weeks, a video on Meet the Rookie, so we get to know, and Christian Lundgaard and Callum Ilott will be covered by Dylan James GP, a guy who's been making a lot more IndyCar content, which is fantastic for the series. More YouTubers covering IndyCar means more eyes to the series, which means the series can hopefully get bigger, and that's all we want. We want IndyCar to be loved by as many people as possible, because it's just a fantastic series and it has fantastic drivers within it. So you'll get to learn more about Christian Lundgaard and Callum Ilott via Dylan James, so that will be good on that front. What did you miss? We spoke about more downforce package at Texas Motor Speedway, Iowa Speedway, and obviously was the headline in the thumbnail, and Gateway. Also spoke about Tatiana Calderon and Tony Kanaan being announced, and kind of suggesting who might be in that number 11 seat for the ovals. And also we spoke a little bit about the Indy Lights there, and Christian Lundgaard hopefully not being just a hype driver and flopping. I think he'll go from there. Unfortunately for Palou, he won too soon, so now people see him as a vet and he still doesn't get as much hype as anyone else. Yeah, interesting. The only reason I'm not really counting Palou in the championship, I think Indy 500 is a really, really good opportunity for Palou this year. I think he will be a very, very strong candidate there, especially if Chip Ganassi and Honda continue to have their little bit of a mini dominance at the Speedway this year. I think Palou, with how close he was in that finish with Elio, and he'll, have that experience under his belt, I think he's very good there. I think it's very difficult to win back-to-back championships. I don't know the last person to do it. I think Dario Franchitti was potentially the last one to win back-to-back championships within this series, and that may have been 2010, 2011, I want to say. I could be wrong on that. Get me up, pull me up on chat if I've got that wrong. But yeah, it's very difficult. Even someone as good as what Scott Dixon has been, as good as what Joseph Newgarden has been, have not been able to achieve back-to-back championships within this time in IndyCar. So That's why I'm kind of counting Pillow out, because there's so many talented guys out. If he does it, it's going to be... it cannot be understated how huge an achievement it would be for Alex Palou to win back-to-back championships. That would be a huge statement and testament to his ability as a driver. That would be an incredible effort from him, but I just think it is unlikely in that scenario. Any more thoughts or topics that you would like us to discuss? Because it may be a slightly shorter stream for us today, guys. We can go back to the slightly later one in the day. I was just testing out this earlier time to see if it benefited or suited more people. I know it's very first thing in the morning and either people are at work or be travelling to work, but I wasn't sure if they could jump in on that front. And let me get back to the screen, main screen, intro, start screen there. But yes, I think that covers the main news stories. I suppose, other than Juncos, which has been very quiet, and I suppose Carlin, but news has been very quiet about Carlin ever since the only thing we've really had is obviously Nannini, who will be racing in Indy Lights this season. Matteo Nannini, he obviously could be a talented one. It could be one that we see within the series. Going to be interesting to see how he gets on in the Indy Lights Championship going forward. But yes, not much news on Carlin, but I would expect that as we are getting into February, that to be announced somewhat soon. Or maybe they are struggling for sponsorship for that second car, and we're going to go into the season with no Carlin and just Juncos racing. But yeah, if I get any updates on that, I will be able to let you know. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for everyone, guys. Like I said, drop us anything in chat if you got any kind of topics or any news that you want to be discussing. If not, I will wait and see you. We will have that going over who will have the best sophomore year discussion coming out on Friday with me and Stephen in that podcast episode, talking about Jimmy Johnson, Roman Grosjean and Scott McLaughlin, who's going to have the best year and what classifies a good or a great season for those guys respectively. But yeah, I think that's it for now, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the IndyCar news and chat. Don't forget to drop a like on the stream if you're watching it now or if you're watching it in kind of past time. All that support is greatly appreciated on the channel. Do appreciate all your guys' supports, and you know, if you can help us out with the subscribe as well if you're new to the channel, that is always much appreciated. But we're not far away from the start of the season now. What's the date now? We're getting to just over a month away before the season opener at St. Petersburg. I'm very much looking forward to that. Cannot wait for that. But thanks for everyone who joined us in chat and was commenting in chat. Don't forget, if you're watching this in post time, let us know in the comments below your thoughts on more downforce on the ovals and all the stories discussed in today's episode. I will endeavour to do my best to get back and reply to everyone in those comments as well. But that is it for us today, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the stream. But for now, you IndyCar fans,